What's up, Spartan fans? It's Jacob Kotzenicki here, back for another edition of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. The bye week's now officially over. Your Spartans are now heading into a critical week coming up against the Nebraska Cornhuskers, two teams that got the bye week this past Saturday. Real fun, entertaining slate of games that they got to watch. Bunch of great games. Penn State, Oregon was a classic. Maybe not classic, but it was a really good game. Bunch of craziness going on around the Big Ten, around the country. But both teams similar starts to their years. Both teams went 3-0 in their non-conference slate. Got a Power 4 win against another team. Nebraska beat Cincinnati in Arrowhead Stadium, and Michigan State beat Boston College. But then both teams, challenging game to start the Big Ten slate. I'd say Michigan State's was probably a bit tougher. They went to USC and lost 45-31. Nebraska falls to Michigan at home 30-27. Both teams now are going to have 2 weeks to prepare for this one, so no rest advantage either way for either team. It's kind of tough probably for Michigan State to not at least have the preparation advantage coming out of the bye. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, that's not really an excuse for whatever happens here. But this is going to be, there's a lot of things that are going to be learned about this team from this game. They're coming off of a loss for the first time. They got outplayed by USC, who didn't look great against Illinois. This past weekend they lost. 9 a.m. kick, but boo-hoo, Michigan State had to play at 11 p.m. So I don't care too much about the kickoff time in that one. But still, Michigan State, their results aren't aging great. Boston College is now 1-3. They just lost to Cal at home. Not great. And obviously USC just goes out and loses to Illinois, who's a good team. But Illinois, the way USC had looked, you'd maybe think they'd go beat Illinois. They were favored in that game. And then they'd move up the rankings, and at least it's kind of like, oh, you lost to, if USC wins that game, they're probably, number 16, number 15 in the country, probably in the upcoming AP poll. Instead, this is being filmed a little bit before the poll comes out. I'm going to presume they're going to drop out entirely, and then it's an unranked loss. Just doesn't look good in general. So, for Michigan State, this is the type of game that they just haven't won going into Nebraska. It's not a game that they've won under Jonathan Smith or in the past couple of years. This team, they've struggled to win on the road. It's simple as that. Last couple of years, they've only really won one road game. I'm trying to hit the memory banks now. Let's see, they lost in Boston College last year, a game that they probably should have won. I think the only road win last year was Maryland in week 2. Other than that, they probably should have beaten Michigan, if you ask me. I thought Michigan State kind of outplayed Michigan in that game, but it was those couple critical plays that gave Michigan the Paul Bunyan Trophy again. They haven't won road games lately. It's they need to find a way to win a road game, and this is going to be a real tough one. I mean, it's Nebraska. There's probably not a more loyal fan base in college football, maybe in sports in general. I mean, they've sold out that building. It's not a small stadium at all. They've sold out that building in Nebraska since, the 70s, the 60s? I mean, the streak is in the 400s, I'm pretty sure. It was a pretty phenomenal atmosphere when Michigan was in town. Maybe it's a ranked Michigan team. People don't like Michigan, so maybe it's a little toned down for MSU, but still, it's going to be full. It's going to be sold out. It's tough. It's tough. And Nebraska, I like Nebraska. They could have won that game against Michigan. They really could have. I thought on a play-for-play basis, they were right there. They were right there with Michigan, but it was those long runs that they allowed that kind of did them in. There was the Hail. You could argue Michigan kind of gave some points away with the Hail Mary debacle with the clock management from Biff Poggi, the acting head coach there, but still, play-for-play basis, I thought Nebraska was right there with U of M. I don't think U of M is bad. I think Nebraska's a good team. Dylan Raiola looks better. That was, again, another funny little thing is that Aiden Childs is a junior, Raiola's a sophomore, but Childs is actually the younger quarterback in this matchup. But Raiola's been dealing. I thought he played well against U of M. The numbers might be a little inflated because of that Hail Mary, but he was still fine. He holds on to the ball a bit longer, but with how little pass rush Michigan State has had, I think you can afford that. Just wait for a guy to get open. Nebraska's got a whole bunch of receivers. They've got a good tight end, Luke Lindenmeyer. Excuse me, but again, Jonathan Smith is still looking for that first real nice win. That first that really makes you feel good. I guess the closest thing was maybe Iowa last year. That win at Maryland. Those were kind of those games that I think they were. I'm pretty sure they were underdogs against Iowa. I know they were underdogs against Maryland, but one of those ones where you just kind of feel like you stole one. One of those that just you played above the level. You truly played above the level of expectations, and this is a gettable one. Michigan State is the underdog in this one. Really, no surprise. These are two comparable teams, and it's in Nebraska. I'd imagine even if it's in East Lansing, Nebraska would still be favored, but the spread would be pretty small. But Nebraska's favored by about a touchdown and a half, I'm pretty sure. So it's tough. But Michigan State has to find a way to try and steal a game from someone at some point if they want to, well, one, make a bowl game, and two, just have a successful season. Again, the expectations at Michigan State shouldn't just be squeak into the game above Sports Bowl in Detroit at 6-6 and go play Toledo. No, people want more than that. They want 8 wins. They want 9 wins. I don't think that's going to happen this year. But when you build towards that, you got to kind of find a way to beat those teams that are good enough to win 8 or 9 games. Nebraska is on the way up. They were better last year. I think they're better this year. Matt Rule, he's turned around Temple and Baylor. If you can turn around Temple and Baylor, he can definitely turn around Nebraska. Cornhuskers don't really invoke the same amount of fear I'd imagine they invoked in the 1990s when they were winning national championships. Same thing kind of goes with recruits. They haven't really seen Nebraska have a ton of success in their lifetimes, but it's still one of those names that make your ears perk up because you know what they've done in the past. You know what type of fan base they have. And again, Matt Rule, great college coach. Didn't work out for him in the NFL. And that's okay. But again, he's turned around 2 programs before, 2 programs where it's tougher to win at than Nebraska. And this is kind of the year. It was that 3rd year at those previous 2 stops where he turned it around. This is that year for him. They do look better. Their offense is good. They have a really good secondary. It's going to be a big challenge. And it's just one of those, again, it's so important. They just got to find a way to win one of those games where outside noise says, I don't think they're going to win. When you pull that upset, it makes everyone just kind of take a second, Michigan State, even if it's just a second, Michigan State won. Wasn't expecting that. Maybe I'll pay attention a bit more. Maybe I'll pay attention to them a bit more. That leads to more coverage. That leads to more attention. That leads to more recruits noticing you and what you're building. And this is a game where I think they can go get it. I don't know if when they go to Indiana, I don't know how gettable that game is. Indiana's probably going to play in the college football playoff again this year. I haven't looked at their schedule, but they're real good. Penn State, probably not. When Michigan comes to town, I think that's gettable. But they got to find a way to win one of those games where you probably shouldn't win. They just got to find a win a game where they're more than just a 3-point underdog. They got to go steal one. 2 touchdown spread, 10-point spread, something like that. So this will be critical for MSU's season. They're 3-1. Nebraska's 3-1. Nebraska probably a bit stronger, 3-1, given what they did in the non-conference, looking a little bit better. On a neutral field, I'd still think Nebraska might win. But again, this is just my opinion. These games are played for a reason. It'd be pretty boring if we decided to play games that are if games were decided by computers. That's why I always hate. This will be a rant for another. This is more of a rant for another time. When the college football playoff discussion happens, you're going to hear insert SEC team would be favored against this team on a neutral field. I don't care. That's not how we should decide things. So you can affect that by winning a game at Nebraska. So, but again, Michigan State needs a win sooner rather than later to try and get things on track again after that loss to USC. At the very least, you lose to Nebraska, you got UCLA coming into town the next week. Worst team in the power conferences, probably. I need to maybe look at the scores. Oklahoma State might be right there with them, but still. Big game against Nebraska. I'm looking forward to it. Playing at Nebraska, any game at Nebraska is kind of fun to watch, given their crowd, given their fan base, and it's going to be It's going to be an interesting matchup. MSU's passing attack against what I believe is a top 5, or maybe I haven't looked at the stats again after the last week of games, but their passing defense is maybe top in the country. If it's not number 1, it's probably top 10, top 5. And again, Michigan State's defense, I'm going to be interested to see how they respond. This is being filmed on Sunday. We'll get updates from Jonathan Smith on that on Monday when he has his press conference. We'll see what they do to fill in the gaps probably on the injury front and see how bad those injuries are that they had against USC. But still, it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game. Two teams that play a more fun brand of football, I'd like to think. But yeah, once again, I'm Jacob Katzeniga. Thank you once again for listening. Continue to keep checking in at SpartanNation.com for daily Michigan State sports coverage. And once again, see you guys around.